Welcome back to the All-Purpose Pod for an all-purpose life, wherever you are and however you're listening to. They call me Mr. You, the podcast. We thank you again for making us a part of your morning, your day, and your week. We're your weekly mirror check before you change the world. We're in the house for all you guys that are first-time visitors today. We're normally on at Mondays at 9 a.m. Today is not Monday. Today is Thursday. We had a little preemptive episode because of vacation for me. So we're here today, but our normal scheduled time is going to be Mondays at 9 a.m. So please don't get lost and try to find us on Thursdays. We're not going to be there. So we'll be there on Mondays. But Bo's in the house. Herb and Raj are moving around their respective cities. So hopefully they'll chime in and drop some nuggets on you guys this morning. But Bo, how you doing, man? How's things going today?
Doing good, my man. How about you?
Fantastic. Post-vacation. So sometimes you got to rest after the vacation. Just get back to normal. That's where I am right now. I'm not at normal yet. I'm not even at 90%. I'm working somewhere around 83.5%. Not there yet, but we're working on it. We are working on it. Good morning. It's my brother, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us, man. Glad to have you in the house today. All right. Well, we are going all NFL draft for the most part anyway. There's a lot of recapping that we didn't get a chance to do just yet, man. But there's more good mornings coming through. Chad, good morning, brother. Dad. I know you had about your boy from West VA on the Steelers. You predicted it on our show, and it actually happened, brother. The Steelers got your guy, man. So excited for that, man. Mom, good morning. Hope you're having a good time out there where you are. I can't wait to see your face. You always got all back. I'm like, I just want to just see you and love on you. But thanks for joining our show and supporting us so much. You always do. Really appreciate it. All right, so just before we start getting into a little bit of the detail, let's jump on this thing with Dion and Shador. Let's touch this first. It feels like this is like some level of a hot topic.
Man, it's just this never-ending saga. Like at some point, they need to just shut up and actually win some football games.
Yeah, they won 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. That's not a lot to brag about.
That's an understatement.
We were on the Wednesday wrap-up yesterday, and I think I might have mentioned this. I forgot how much detail I went into. I was saying, that I'm down for an environment that has a strong work ethic that preaches toughness. You got to have that in football because a lot of things happen. You got to be tough and you got to have a great mindset. For me, the challenge is that this culture, it feels like it's so bad. It's like anybody that comes into it, they're going to suffer from it. And when you go out to presumably go into the NFL and be drafted, it's going to be held against you. And it's like it's really a bad situation because, like in Shador's case, people talking about top 5 and number 1 overall. It's like, you can't bite that and kind of fall for the hype. But man, it's like this is a really bad start. If he wasn't talking, it probably wouldn't be as bad. But he's talking as well, and your dad's the coach, and you guys are both the de facto leaders of this team, and you're talking like this and saying things about other players, and of course, fellow collegiates. Like Quinn Ewers and some other guys, and they talking about Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts and running down NFL players that are going to be part of your camaraderie, your grouping once you eventually drafted. So I lost the word I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find something. It wasn't camaraderie, it was some other word. But you talk about guys are going to be a part of your fraternity. That's what I wanted. And you're running them down before you even get there. It's like this is a bad look. This is not good. It's not a good way to start any kind of career, really. But as you can see, it's kind of going all downhill from here.
Yeah, I mean, it's. First off, I don't know why they're getting involved in these Twitter wars anyway. You would think that this would be below their pay grade, right? Certainly for Dion anyway. Shador maybe not. He's young, whatever. But I don't know why they're running down guys that potentially they're going to be in the league with. It's just a bad look. And I mean, realistically, I don't know how that's going to help them recruit guys because you're just showing that it is a toxic environment that you're headed to. So, I don't know. It's a bad look, and it just keeps getting worse is the problem.
We always got the impression that Dion was there to change the environment and to produce a winning culture.
So to be fair, he changed the environment.
Okay. Yeah, the environment has changed.
And they went from a
won more
one-win to a
games.
four-win. Exactly. They went from a 1-win to a 4-win. So technically they won more games. But
It's the goal, though. It's just what we wanted.
The goal, I would imagine, would be to actually win meaningful games. But and I mean, realistically, they'll probably still be better, right? But
Sure.
but they're not going to be impressive. And if I was a recruit trying to go into college, the first year of Dion, I would have been intrigued. The way I'm watching everything happen now, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I haven't seen the schedule, but we can presume they're going to win more than 4 games. But to be honest, I don't know. I thought they win more than 4 last year and it didn't happen. So,
well, yeah, because they moved to the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced they win more than 4 games.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's like I think it's all about relevance. And it's like, and this is why I really get steamed about the Dallas Cowboys in general. It's not because of the NFC East rivalry. It's more about this part, because they think being relevant means to keep your name in the news. And it's like, is that what relevance really means? Is that really what you want to have? Because I mean, people are talking about you. You might have a Twitter post they got like 100,000. But is that really relevance, or?
So sort of it is, right? I mean,
so?
it's that old adage, even bad press is good press, right? Like that's
no news is good news, or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So, I mean, it keeps the cameras on them, and that's what they care about, right? Like Dion is the coach version of Jerry Jones. Like he needs the cameras on him all the time. Which, I mean, cool, whatever. You get a lot of exposure for your school. The problem is when it goes the direction it's going, it's pretty much all bad press. And if you're a kid that's trying to get good tape out there, that maybe you're not the number 1 pick coming into the draft, maybe you're a round 3 or 4 guy, you're going to get lost in the circus that is this team because of the craziness that's always happening, right? Because you got Deion Sanders being himself, and then, you have his kids that require a lot of camera time because they're also out there saying dumb stuff. And so if you're one of those mid-round potential guys, you might just get missed because there's too much other just weird stuff to watch on this team.
Yeah. For me, I beg to differ just a little bit, and it's probably the English major in me, but the word relevant, it actually means something that's appropriate or connected to the matter at hand. When you hear all this in the news with the Cowboys, that's not the matter at hand. That's not what really matters, because what we always come back to is what you do in the playoffs.
So what
their name is in it because of because their facilities. Jerry Jones is constantly has his face out there, but at the end of the day, we always come back and we talk about it.
But you're talking about 2 different kinds of relevance. So you're talking about relevance in the game, and they are creating relevance for the brand, right? And those aren't always the same thing, because for the brand, having the name in the news all the time helps bring money to your team, whether it's good or bad, for whatever reason, because it's always in the forefront of the mind, right? Because
how's that work with Colorado, though? Are you seeing that happening in Colorado? You think that it's bringing more money to the brand, as you say?
They are. They have more NIL money than they did before he got there. And it's because they get all this airtime all the time. Because, again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's good news, bad news, whatever. If the cameras are on you as an advertiser, unless somebody is like hurting other people, which they're not, they're just being annoying. But if you're an advertiser, then all that camera time is just highlighting whatever brand you're trying to sell, right? Because at the end of the day, it's selling ads. That's all this is, all of it.
Like you said, it's 2 different things. I mean, that's not something that I care about because I don't get any revenue from that, so that doesn't matter to me. I'm looking at the end result, and like you said, it's annoying. I'm watching football because I like football.
No, I mean, we're talking about relevance on 2 different fronts, right?
Yeah, I'm staying on the other front.
In the football world? No, because they had 4 wins. Nobody's relevant at 4 wins.
Yeah, and basically, also you apply to my timeline with Shador gonna be an overall number 1 pick, and I don't want that junk on my page. That's not real. We don't even know that. We don't even know if he's even going to be up in the top 5. His daddy said he will be, but
yeah,
honestly, how can your daddy even control that part? He threw the ball probably more than he ever did in his entire life last year. It didn't. It resulted in 4 wins still. So how can you control if this is going to be a top 5 pick? How?
So Dion has enough influence. He could finesse his kid onto a team in the top. He could. Absolutely.
How?
Because with him brings Dion.
You don't have to have the numbers, no?
You
don't have to have the numbers.
You don't. That's the thing. That's similar to somebody's going to draft Bronny, right? Someone's going to do it. Yeah, and it's going to be because of LeBron. Because his kid doesn't have the numbers to get drafted. Like, his kid's okay, right? He's not great. There's nothing special. But he's going to end up in the NBA. Like, it's just – so there's a similar situation here. Now, Shador isn't a bad quarterback. Like, I'm not saying that.
Nobody said that.
So, like, he's a good athlete, no doubt. Not disputing that. Do I think he's a number 1 overall pick? No, I haven't seen that. But – do I think he'll go higher on the board than he probably should? Yes. And that is solidly because of Deion Sanders and the relationships he has with a bunch of these owners. So,
well, we'll see.
What's that?
We'll see. I'm staying the other side for now because I don't feel like it's a good thing. I'm not even sure that it's going to happen, but I'll stay over here and we'll just watch and see.
The thing is it sells tickets, it sells jerseys, so these are the things that matter to owners. Wins matter, yeah, to a degree, but it's profits, right? These are billionaires. They like money coming in the door. If they can get all the money coming in the door and not spend the money to get a winning team, they'll still do it, right? Like, if they can get a flashy guy that outsells everybody in jerseys and all of that, they'll do it.
I'm not going to dispute that. I can't. But we're talking about a quarterback.
Yep.
A leader of the team, like we talked about a little bit yesterday on the wrap-up.
Sure. This
is somebody who you're making a big investment in. I don't care what you say. This is a long-term investment. This is not like, no offense, but any other position on the team, it's not like that. This is different.
Well,
they've got rules in place to protect this particular player at this position. So the investment is on a different level. I don't know. We're watching see, but I just don't. I'm not ready to anoint him.
You can guess wrong on a first-round quarterback and have it not bury your team, because rookie contracts aren't horrible, right? So, if somebody could take him in the top 10, let's say, and say he flames out. We've watched that happen a million times. Franchises are fine. Now, if they turn around and give him a, $150 million contract and he's bad, well, that's on the franchise. Like, that's just, that there's just bad decisions. But if you go and you draft him and then he just doesn't work out, you don't have that much invested, because rookie deals aren't crazy.
Well, I totally understand that. I think I'm already at the place where I've kind of had enough of the drama surrounding this. I don't know. Even right now, I feel like I'm getting lulled to sleep right now. I'm like, okay, I'm not bored with you. I'm just kind of like, okay, I feel like this is like,
if you're already bored with it.
No, I feel like I'm kind of there. Something that stirred me up here. Keep me to discuss this again. It's kind of like talking about the Cowboys for 60 minutes. It's like,
yeah,
how far can I really go with this?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, if you're already bored with this topic and we're not even into the spring game for them yet, buckle up, because it's about to be a long year.
Yeah, I want to actually see what they actually do. You know what I'm saying? On the field, the whole football thing. I want to actually see that part. That's what I want to see.
I'm curious. I want to see if they have any semblance of defense, or if they're gonna try and run the ball. There's a lot of things that they were very bad at last year that, I'm curious if they can fix. I don't know how they're going to because they have all new kids again. But
I don't know how they're going to fix that. I'm not even sure that they're going to even duplicate what they did last year. Maybe, but different conference, different level of competition.
Hurts over there playing video games.
Got distractions here too. So that's going on. What's up, brother?
Good morning. What is up? I'm actually at work. I just told him I was going to the bathroom real quick so I could jump on here. So,
brother,
we about to see the longest bathroom break in history.
Well, guess what? If you could do it for 45 minutes and get away with it, more than merrier.
We'll be here for 45 minutes, though. I apologize for being late, man. I had to finish up something before jumping on, but
that's okay, man.
Oh, it's all good. I like the studio. You're going to take us into the honey bucket. Is that what it is?
Yes. I mean, if somebody calls back, we might be up on the ladder here in a minute, but I'm going to bring the whole computer with me.
Sweet deal. Good morning, Wayne. Glad you're in the house. Love that you're on with us. All right. Well, let's move on. Since Herb is here, I guess we'll give you a shot at the whole Deion Shador conversation. I'm officially done for today, at least.
Yeah.
If you want to share, by all means, the floor is yours, man.
I'll make it quick because I don't want to slow y'all down. Mike, Big Mike, a good friend, was one of the biggest Deion people, and yesterday he said he was done. I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. No,
I mean it's just gotten crazy.
It is
at this point.
Yeah. I want to see football. I don't want to talk about this no more.
No,
I want to show me that you're going to be so relevant in the way that I care about. I don't care about your ads and your likes.
Yeah,
relevant on the field, win more than 4 games, play like a top 5 overall or number 1 overall. Play, not talk like one.
Right,
like one. That's where I'm at. No offense to nobody who loves Deion, love the drama. Do you, baby? I don't want that.
I would take him starting to talk like one.
Yeah.
Because that's not what we're seeing out of him. We're seeing a junior high kid.
morning. Thank y'all. Yeah.
Herb getting that love in this morning. All right.
Yep.
Can we go NFL and leave Deion in the past?
I'm done with it. I'm good.
All right. I'm there too. So a lot going on with NFL draft. We didn't talk about it much at all. I was away, and a lot of stuff. I mean, I wonder how you guys felt about your team, how your teams fared, draft grades, reactions, surprises. Let's run the whole show down with it, man. So let's go, man. So what you guys thinking, man? First question. I'll help you out. First question. What was the biggest surprise for you in the draft?
I'm gonna go with the second biggest because I know everyone is talking about the biggest.
Oh, so give me a numero uno. It's all good.
I mean, numero uno's got to be Michael Penix, man. And I just feel like it's maybe been beaten to death, but it is legitimately your biggest shock, And I talked about it kind of yesterday. Been watching the Falcons podcast, and it's taken him a week to talk himself into, okay, maybe this isn't a terrible thing, but it's like all the possibilities. If Kirk Cousins at least gives you like 3 years, then you don't have any idea what you have at Penix.
Yep.
He's going to be like 27 at that point without having been a snap, haven't taken a snap, and you're paying him $100 million guaranteed. All right. If Kirk Cousins gets hurt and Penix has to step in earlier than you wanted, then you're still paying him $100 million. So what was the whole point inside? If you were going to sign a guy like that, I'm gonna steal one from what Bo said yesterday. Get a guy like Drew Lock. Get somebody who you don't have to pay that much, and you don't think is going to be your starter for more than a year or two.
Exactly.
So, and the parallels that they were trying to make was like to the Jordan Love thing or whatever. Well, those guys were drafted late. Even Aaron Rodgers was drafted late after he fell, on the draft. They weren't drafted 8. Okay, it's just not the same as any of these other situations.
No, if you're a top 10 pick, you're in theory going to play.
Right.
Like that's the
idea. At the very least, year 2, right?
Yes.
Because I think like the plan with McCarthy is like give him 1 year, let Darnold just get out there and see what happens, and then get out there, right? But no more than that, right?
Yeah. Well, and then you run into the other issue, right? Because you have over the next 2 seasons for Kirk Cousins, I think it's $90 million, right? So, and then there's an out after that. But
it was 100.
Yeah.
Well, it's 100 guaranteed for the whole contract, but the next 2 years, I think it's just 90.
Okay.
So if
just
they were
90.
if they were to cut,
So, you know,
just 90, no big deal.
please.
But if they were
Right.
to cut him, they'd have to pay him the 10 mil, right? Obviously, because it's guaranteed.
Gotcha.
But they can get out of his contract. So
Okay. He got a Daniel Jones contract, basically.
yeah, that's what it
Like
sounds
that.
like. But so the next problem that you run into is if you say Kirk Cousins isn't ready to go, right? Because of when he tore his Achilles. Maybe he's not ready to go week 1, or maybe he's not ready till week 5 or 6 or something. Well, if Penix comes in and is balling out, you can't pull him back out.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you're going to pay $100 million to a guy that isn't going to play.
Right.
That's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about where would Garoppolo go, and he was suspended for 2 games, and we're like, if you get a rookie, you can't. It's like the same situation except with way more money on the line. You can't put him out there and bring him back.
And way better production, let's be honest.
way better. It's weird. It's weird, man, because the knock, if anything, besides his injury history on Penix, was that he will need 1 or 2 years to get up to speed, whatever that meant. So it's like, but to take him in the top, if it happened outside of the top 10, I probably wouldn't even cared as much, because like you guys already stated very eloquently that in the top 10, you kind of expect him to start. Nobody thinking Joe Alt's going to sit in his first year.
Or if you're not going to start, it's only going to be a year.
Target, right? It just makes sense, right? I'm saying, but in this case, it's like, okay, you want to give him 1 or 2 years as a little cushion, but you're going to pitch him at 8?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't get that part of it. That's the only part I'm still left not understanding. But
even in the top 10, you can wrap your head around sitting for a year, especially behind a guy like Kirk Cousins. He's a
not 2 years though.
Not 2 years.
Well, that's what he said. A year should be the max, is what I'm thinking.
It's certainly not the 3 to 5 years they were talking about.
No.
Like you're going to sit a guy until he's 30 and never take a snap. Like, why even draft the guy?
Right.
Like, you're going to have to pay him and not even know if he can throw.
Yep.
Ugly stuff there. All right. Jeremy said, I'm happy the Giants picked Neighbors. They're going to add a quarterback to. Is that a typo, Jay? To hit him with the Giants?
I don't know. I did like the Neighbors pick, though. I thought that was a smart choice at that point.
Sure.
You'll figure out the quarterback, but if you're not happy with the guys, if you didn't get one of the big 3 and you're not happy necessarily with the guys afterward, go for a premium at that position. So I agreed with it.
Yeah,
so, I guess my question to you guys then is, does Drew Lock steal the job? Because I think he could.
I don't see any reason why he can't.
Right.
It's not the same thing as the Atlanta situation, but he is. But DJ's coming off an injury, and he sounds like he's doing great. But we know when we know, right? So,
and he looked pretty shell shocked in the interview.
I mean, for me, I don't know. It's really hard to compare Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. It's hard for me.
Sure.
I don't feel like I got a full handle on Drew Lock. Just overall, I've seen him a little bit in Seattle, a lot more in Denver, but there was a lot of factors that caused the result that we got.
Right.
It wasn't just his abilities. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. But I mean, I kind of feel like Locke can have that. He can get that locker room.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not hard, because if you are shell shocked like people are saying DJ is, and you don't have that captaincy anymore. You don't have that swagger. You know what I'm saying? And Drew Lock likes to dance. Apparently, from all the videos I've been seeing, he likes to dance. He got some swag. He gets that young group and gets them galvanized and rally behind him. It can be over before it even starts. So yeah, definitely possible. Definitely possible. And he's not bad at football. I don't know what people think about him because he get moved around so much, but he's not at journeyman status yet. He could still play some football. So under the right circumstances, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
The thing with Locke is he actually plays pretty well. He just happened to land in places that it wasn't going to work, right? Like that Broncos team wasn't great. And then he gets forced out of the room by, Russell Wilson, right? So then he comes to Seattle, and Geno is, given that starting role, and then he sets the Seahawks single season passing record. It's like, okay, well, you're not taking that job from him. Like that's not a real thing. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those, he hasn't landed in a spot where he could realistically take that starting job. Now, can he do it? I don't even know. You know, honestly, I didn't think Geno was going to be able to do it. So, I mean, is it possible? For sure. Yeah. But I think this is a scenario where if he's given a real opportunity, he could take the job, because Drew Lock is relatively accurate. You know, the one thing he does make bad decisions from time to time. So not to say that DJ doesn't. So, I mean, yeah. I think that's one of the very few times that there could be a real quarterback, you know, not controversy, but competition for sure.
Yeah. Right. And am I right, real quick? Am I right? You guys said you can get off of DJ's contract after this year coming up.
After this year, yeah.
Right. Yeah. See, so I think the timetable for the Giants, $6 million. Yeah. You're kind of in like a little mini rebuild. You're starting to make a little bit better personnel decisions. It almost doesn't matter what happens. If Drew Lock plays well and you play, you know, well this season, that's great. If he's bad and DJ, you're about to get off him anyway. Now you've got a high pick next year, and you can take Shedeur and see how that turns out.
Yep.
I don't,
yeah, like the comments say,
you're going to drive here or fly here and check on me. I'm telling you.
Yeah, not Shedeur, but
if that happens, I'm gonna need some help. I don't care how good he plays. I don't want him here. His daddy comes with him and all the other drunk. I don't want none of that. We don't need that stuff in our life.
Man, we be watching you lose your mind.
I'll be at the front door. I'll be knocking. Hey, you all right, man? You all right, buddy?
I feel like my mind is intact, but I feel like I ain't gonna be in the best of moods.
Right.
I just put it like that. But as far as the Drew Lock part goes, see him at the Broncos, see him in Seattle, and now he's going to be here. I need more time to assess all three situations, but on the surface, without going into detail and research, I feel this is a better spot than all of those in several different areas.
Yeah.
Defensive side, O-line, to a degree. I'm not sure where we are yet. We got some. Ryan Neal got dropped down in the depth chart, so that's a good thing. So I'm like, okay, so now maybe we got some progress with Jermaine and that kind of stuff. But we'll see how it goes. But this is a good spot for him to do what you said, bro. Actually take over. So we'll see what happens. Got some folks coming in, chime in. Good morning, Bayou Bango. What's up, baby?
Yep.
Hit that like button. I love it. Yep. All right, so some more comments here.
That being said, if you guys do pick up Shedeur,
we gonna stay on this, man. Can we move on?
If you guys pick him up, I want to watch the draft with you, because I think that'll be hilarious.
Yeah. We definitely have to have live reactions,
right?
I don't normally throw stuff during the draft. In this case, I'm gonna find something heavy, make some loud noises, because I don't want that stuff, man. Y'all call them top all you want. You want them on your team, you can have them. All you guys' teams, you can have them if you want them. Go for it. I won't be mad. I won't be like, man, wish we got Shedeur. It'll never happen.
I don't know. Maybe he balls out.
It don't matter. It never come past these lips. I said, you know what? I want LaMelo Ball on my team. I don't.
Yeah, zero
you know why, right?
No, I got you.
You know why, right? Okay. Nobody wants that. Matter of fact, you know what? I don't know an NFL coach in the world that want that either. Ownership might, because, like you said, ads, money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But not one coach wants that.
The spot that I think could really happen is Jerry Jones getting Dion to come to the NFL and brings his kid. Like, that seems like a very Cowboys thing, and I am here for that dumpster fire because I think that will be hilarious.
Oh, wow.
You know what's going to happen? The same thing that happened since 1996. Nothing. That's what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, but it'll do exactly what the Cowboys like to do, though. Gets all the cameras on them. All the cameras on
crazy.
Them. And again, I would be here for the dumpster fire. I bring the popcorn and a beer, and we'll just sit around and watch that organization burn.
Mom is talking about influence when it comes to Deion Sanders and Shedeur. Many times it's more about who you know more than what you know.
Yeah. That's right.
And not something you're going to talk about yet, but I mean, look at the Bronny situation. We would absolutely not be talking about this if it weren't for LeBron James.
No, it's funny because I made that parallel before you got on because I was just
sorry.
like, oh yeah, like, no, because he's 100% going to get drafted and shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right. Like what we've seen is he probably needs to go to the G League and continue to grow his game.
Exactly.
But
Gotta be smart, but
but LeBron has enough influence that Bronny's going to get in, and he's gonna be in the league for like 2 years, and then as soon as LeBron is out, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah. Yep.
Unless his game really elevates.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
And I saw something last night about LeBron. I really didn't want to get into that at all, but I had to mention it. About, I guess, him going into free agency. Almost as leverage to get somebody to pick up his son so they can play together and fulfill this dream they have.
That's the whole thing.
I'm like,
but my question was like, who's going to sign him and waste the top pick, like, and still think they're going to win a championship next year? Or are you just doing it for tickets? Because
you're doing it for tickets and jerseys.
Why would they be a part of their drama? Why we got to be a part of this? It's just
because none of this has to do with the actual sport.
Yeah.
This is all about money,
and that's what goes back to the Sanders thing, and that's how you get there easily.
It's exactly
has nothing to do with the on the field or on the court product.
And it was the same thing for when LeVar Ball was doing all the Big Three brand and all this craziness. Or Big Ball or whatever his crap is called, but
wow.
I mean, that's all this is, right? This is all marketing. And it's good. See, that's the problem is it's good marketing. It works.
Yeah.
So
it's working my nerves.
You may not like it, but it creates money. And that's what all of it's for.
Unfortunately.
It's ridiculous, man. I have one question that we got to go to the NFL draft. We got to get off of this. Does Raj still think he's the GOAT? That's my only question I want to know. Do you still think he's the GOAT?
He does.
This GOAT behavior?
Yes. This ain't GOAT behavior, but he does. And I can tell you by our text messages and chats that he does. So, and this is my problem whenever you talk to a LeBron fan is, and this happens with Raj and happens in the group text, they can't talk about LeBron without bringing up MJ. And I'm like, you guys are so insecure about him being the GOAT that you got to go after something.
Yeah.
When I talk about MJ, I just tell you I think he's the best. Yeah. I never bring up anybody else because I know MJ is the best.
Okay.
But
facts. We got a lot of comments about draft grades. I want to go back just a little tiny bit to some of the comments about Malik Neighbors and stuff and ask you guys about your team's draft and how you feel about it. If you got multiple teams, by all means, drop your thoughts on those, but I want to get those there. And we got Jeremy saying Atlanta made a QB controversy where none was needed. Well, you got that right.
Right.
And now Kirk Cousins is hella mad now. So absolutely. He's ticked off. But okay, you guys can start with if you want to, whatever team you want to start with. But overall thoughts. I mean, you can't go to grades and everything, but you can if you want to. But how you feel about how your team did overall?
Go ahead, Herb.
Well, I'll start with because I like those teams. I like this comment here, so I had to say this with the Bills because you've been talking about their championship window closing. You handed Kansas City, who is one of your key rivals, the wide receiver they wanted. Then you traded back. Like Keon Coleman, I know is becoming like a great media personality. He better be like a great number one or something. Now, and to their credit, I guess they like their tight end and they like Shakir. I guess he led them in receiving after week 5 or right about when Diggs fell off, I guess is when he took off. But I don't see how you like there'd be certain teams I would never trade with, And if I'm the Bills, and I was even listening to some Bills guys, and they're like, if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes, we'd have at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls with Josh Allen right now. That's how they honestly feel. That's how they honestly feel. So if you feel that way, you don't hand those people more ammunition coming off back-to-backs.
Excellent point, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I hated when I was watching it and saw it happen. I was like, are they joking? Like, I don't get it. So,
do you believe what's coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
I thought on the screen, ESPN type of like, no way that they trade into that. No way they're doing that. I don't care who you want. There's no way they're doing that for the Chiefs. Our team has beat them how many times now? 4 out of 5 times or 3 out of 4 times?
Yep. I'd put them on hold and just never come back if they called.
I can hang up. Is it who?
No, I'm not going to hang up. I want to waste their time. So I'm like, hold on 1 second.
Right.
Hold. Just
Oh my goodness, bro.
Throw some Rick Astley on there.
What's good?
Just so they don't call anyone else. They be like, "Hey, I've been on the
What you got
for an hour and a half."
The draft grades though, but I want to comment on that last part about the window. I feel like the window was closing real fast the past couple of years. You know why? Because you can't be that inconsistent on both sides of the ball, up and down, and win a Super Bowl. I don't know anybody that's done it. You got to be consistent in something, and they haven't been consistent on either side, offensive, defensive, neither one.
They were consistently inconsistent.
Yeah,
yeah, and look what that got them. But as far as your team go, Herb, how you feeling about what your guys did?
I like what the Eagles did, addressing I think a big need going cornerback. What was it, 1 and 2 in the draft?
Okay.
So I like where they started, at least realizing what was a problem last year. I didn't think you needed really any offensive pieces like very high. What AJ Brown just also re-signed, Devontae Smith got his money. So maybe, better play calling would be needed on that. But I felt like they had a serious need going in, and they said, all right, this is the part of the draft we're going to address. So I like what they did. I think the Texans, I guess, kind of had a solid draft, if not spectacular. I think they did most of their work like last year and then in free agency. So it was like, we're just going to kind of fill in some pieces around here. And then the other team I really liked was, of course, the Lions, just because they're an easy team to root for, and of course they picked one of our favorite players, Terran Arnold, won. So that's always going to endear me a little bit more to you. So those would be my top 3, like, kind of favorites and follow the teams I kind of follow.
Okay. And anything shocked you from
after the Bills and the Falcons? How about just in general, how far the defensive players fell because we went all offense? But I'll also say this. I know Alt is a solid player, but I really thought the Chargers would go wide receiver given the talent of the top 3 wide receivers and what they've lost in the offseason. So I understand maybe the philosophy, but you also lose Eckler. So I guess, you're getting Alt to kind of go more run. And then they're also they're switching them sides to is what I read as well. So that one was kind of like, it was funny. I'm listening to the Chargers guy and he goes, I mean, it's not what I would have done. I'm like, so he's trying to be nice about saying I didn't like the pick, but it's
that's
not
a hard ball. That's a hard ball thing. Without question.
Yeah.
And he already got Gus Edwards. I know.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Gus Edwards reminds him of somebody. I know that already. So this whole that pick that's a hard ball. Michigan Part 2 plan. I see it coming together already. But go ahead, Herb or Bo. I don't know who we're talking about.
I think Bo was about to jump in.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was the Seahawks. I give them a B plus. They definitely went. They went for need, right? And going into the draft, the things I knew we needed more than anything else was defensive line help and interior offensive line. And so our first pick goes to the best defensive tackle, defensive tackle in the draft, right? In Byron Murphy, right? And then our next pick, we got the best, true guard in Chris Haynes. So I mean, those 2 things were huge needs for the Seahawks. So I liked those spots. Another one that I really liked was they picked up in the 6th round. 5th round, a Nima Pritchett, which is a cornerback out of Auburn. Get him. But so what I like about this pickup is obviously you get some depth at corner. He's not going to be a starting corner. We have those. But what I liked about what he brings is because of he was their kick returner, right? And with the new kick return rules, he'll be a huge asset on special teams. And then you still have him to be able to pop in if you're running, like a dime package or something like that. You have that depth at corner. So I like what he can bring. It was a nice late round pickup. So, you didn't invest a lot if he isn't that guy. But with the way that the new kickoff rule is, I think he can get a big, a big role in that way. And then they did go and get some depth at tight end, which they desperately needed also, since they traded away all their tight ends except Fant. So you walk in the tight end room and you're like, it's Noah Fant. And then you look around and you're like, oh, it's Noah Fant.
I know AJ Barner from. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I'll just say it's that Will Smith meme from Fresh Prince.
100% it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. U, my bad.
I liked what they did, because they also grabbed an offensive tackle with the last pick. They grabbed a guard out of Utah, which should be good. So I mean, they really started to address the things that they needed. They added a linebacker also with their third pick. So I mean, I like what Seattle did. A lot of people were thinking they'd get a quarterback. I thought that was kind of a low percentage pick, but if Penix was to fall to him, they would have grabbed him, because they did make some phone calls about potentially moving up inside the top 10 to go get him. So, but you would have had to give up so much to do it. So, but as soon as he was off the board, they went for need, and really they plugged a lot of, or at least patched some holes. I wouldn't say they plugged them yet, but we'll see how they play together.
Now, I've seen AJ Barner at Michigan, obviously, but how do you have you seen any of his work? Are you confident about him being behind Fant?
Yeah, as tight end too, that works. Yeah, no, I mean he's good at what he does. I think the thing that is really good about him is he is a blocking tight end. Like he has good hands, but he will block. And the way that Seattle routinely plays football, they need a tight end that blocks.
He does that. He can catch passes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mom was on point with this. Seems like sports have more drama than old school daytime soaps.
There's no doubt.
Full confession. It's a funny story. I can laugh about it now because I'm healed. I used to watch all of these soaps coming up. And the ones that you forgot about were on. I was watching all that stuff. I had it bad. So daytime drama for me is like I don't watch no daytime drama at all, nothing like that. So all this stuff that be going on,
yep,
I'm running as fast as I can because that's why that's my old addiction. So I got to.
Oh, that's funny.
Get rid of that stuff. But as far as what our team did, I followed the Giants and the Chargers. You guys know that already. I thought the all pick was funny for the Chargers, but because I know who's running this whole show, it's not really a big surprise to me. I know what he's trying to build out there.
Right.
Getting Gus Edwards, I really wanted him real bad. I love Gus the Bus, but he's in a good place. He's going to get run. He'll probably be more durable than Eckler, even though I think Eckler was flashier in some ways. But they got a good situation going on out there with Neighbors. Like Herb, I think Herb stated that it was the pick you had to make it, especially if you didn't like being a quarterback and all.
I agreed with that one. Yeah,
I heard it all was at the top of the chart, which is like surprised a little bit because I thought he was the left tackle, but they got him listed as right tackle. So now it makes sense that he'd be at the top of the chart, which I didn't think before. I was seeing LT for him every time I looked for the entire several weeks leading up to the draft. It was never a right tackle on it. And not that I can find. It was always left tackle. So I'm like, we ain't gonna pick him. We already got one. But now I see him I'm like, wow. So I think he's gonna be our choice if he was available. So Neighbors was smart. I think I guess theoretically giving DJ something he never had before, besides protection, is a number one wide receiver.
Right.
So this is it. I mean, he checks all the boxes. Unlimited upside, in my opinion. Game breaking ability. I mean, you can give him a little bit, he can make a lot out of it. Can't say much about that. And what it also helps us do, it gets all the other guys that were like, a little higher than they should be in the depth chart. Now they have that position now where you belong. So this helps out in a lot of different ways. Push right where they need to be at. Love the Tyler Nubin pick. Everybody love me. People kind of split on McKinney. You go on Giants Twitter. Some people love him. Some people like, we good. Nubin checks all the boxes there too. I'm loving the Theo Johnson pick. I ain't gonna go through the whole draft, but I love the Theo Johnson pick. I mean, he's one of tight ends that he's got a tight end that I like. Not like Mark Bavard, but a little bit reminds me of that, a little flashes of that. He blocks, catches passes, contested catches. He just dominates on that in that regard. He's tall. He got speed. I mean, no matter what Darren Waller decides to do, we got a really, really good guy as a replacement or understudy until he decides to make a decision there. So I'm happy with the draft. I'm not going to give us an A because I'm not sure about what the cornerback's going to do there. Phillips, I mean, he's explosive and he's a great defender, but he takes good angles. But I think the lack of interceptions is what I'm wondering about. Whether because of Kentucky or some other reason. I'm not sure why that was, but so I'm reserving judgment on that part. I like the other guys, Tracy and more so. I like both. I think it was a good draft. I'm giving them a B+ for it too. The Chargers had an excellent draft, so I give them an A- for that one. But I like what's going on there, man. But any other surprises about the draft that you saw beside Penix? I know that was the biggest surprise. I know Herbie said you had a second surprise that was like kind of shocking to you. What was that?
The Bills was my
Second
number
one?
2. Yeah,
Right.
with the way they're trading. And then I guess number 3, like I said, just the overall. I think you had a lot of defenders, maybe going in round 2 that you thought would go in round 1, but they just decided to ignore defense for the longest time. So like for us, specifically Alabama, Kool-Aid was our number 1 corner for most of the year, kind of slid into the number 2 role. And then he goes in the second round, to the Saints. And it's like, the people, did something happen to him? I said, no, they just didn't pick off, they didn't pick a defensive player forever. So
yeah,
that kind of happened. And I think the Penix going where he went kind of had a trickle down effect. The Broncos definitely end up with Knicks, but I think the Raiders, because you had mentioned them before, had an outside, they were probably one that was considering that. And all of a sudden he goes at 8 and you're like, and then Minnesota moves up from McCarthy. You're like, well, we're not trading up to get Bo Nix. So, it's like if he falls to us, you're going to take him, but you're not giving up draft capital. You know what I mean? So I think there was just a lot of two different things there, doing offense, and then the quarterbacks just had a big trickle down effect on how the rest of the draft went.
I mean, so on the quarterback front, the one that was a little bit of a surprise was the Vikings giving up what they did to move up one spot to get JJ.
That was shocking to me too.
That didn't make a lot of sense. Like, they got 2 good picks, right? But they gave up a ton of picks to make those picks happen. And in both situations, they didn't need to move to get the guy they wanted. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it didn't make any sense. And then, of course, when you look at the Broncos, they get Bo Nix, and he's a good quarterback. I just don't know that he's going to be ready. He's one of those guys that I thought needed to sit a year, right?
Right.
And so now you have a quarterback room of Stidham, Wilson, and Nix.
Yeah.
None of them seem like they're ready to play.
Yeah. And another great news, the first thing announced was, we're not picking up the option for Wilson. I was like, we knew that. Like, I don't know how that's news.
Yeah. No, that was never going to be a thing. If your last name is Wilson, you're not getting extended.
We don't want.
By the way, that was the funniest thing about the thing. I saw Broncos not picking up Wilson's extension. I was like, didn't they trade him? I had to actually go click on this article just to figure out. I was like, oh, totally forgot Zach Wilson had already gotten there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's more or less what's going to happen to Zach Wilson, is you're mostly just going to forget he's there.
Right. Before we do that,
Sean Payton likes Stidham.
Yeah.
What's that?
But everybody likes Stidham until they don't. Yeah.
I'm with you.
So on this one right here, the big 3 he wasn't going to get drafted in front of, right? So then you got Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, then Pearsall. So are you saying that he's better than Thomas, which I don't agree with? I think a lot of people really considered him great talent and, wide receiver 4. So you're really just arguing Pearsall versus Worthy, because those are the only people who picked ahead of him. So
honestly, I don't know. I don't know if Pearsall is better than Worthy. I don't know.
Yeah. And then Worthy got more touch for his speed. But and I wish I should have taken more notes, because there was a guy who a draft evaluator that was actually like ripping his game apart. And I was like, for only person I've really kind of heard talk about it, they're like, outside of the speed, this is missing, doesn't do great. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
maybe if that's what you're talking about, but I wouldn't have put Pearsall above the top 3, and I wouldn't have put him against Brian. And obviously I'm gonna be more biased towards Thomas because he played at LSU. I've seen him more in person, but I wouldn't have put him up against those. But
Yeah,
I mean, he's a
I don't
6 wide
think I-
receiver off the board.
I don't think
I think
would
it says more about what is San Francisco going to do with Debo and Ayuk. Like, can we get a resolution to that?
I wish we had time. To get into that.
Yeah,
have some questions about that one. But you know what? Let's try to do that. Let me make just a quick point about the Patriots real quick, and then we can jump into that question. We got time for it.
Yeah.
The Drake May pick. I mean, I'm not really sure about that one. I'm not sure if they're even sure because you got Joe Milton later on in the draft. So it's like, okay, you got Joe Milton because you want what to happen? I asked you about Joe Milton, I think about a week ago, 2 weeks ago before I went on vacation. And you guys weren't high on Joe Milton at all. And your reasons for it were valid. Here they go, picking a quarterback super high in the draft. And then you get Joe Milton at the back. Like they only have needs, like you got other needs. So it's a surprise to me. I don't understand what they're doing. We'll see it all play out, but for me, I'm like, I don't get that move.
Right.
If Drake May's it, then he's it. Fill other spots. Don't get somebody behind him who literally has no chance to do anything back there. So I don't really get that part, but other than that, we can move along. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You got
so they said, and the coach himself said his upside, his cannon arm size, and running abilities. Which no, the running abilities weren't. The only team I saw him really scramble against was Alabama. So no, I don't think that's it. The cannon arm is great, but I mean that's what they said about Jamarcus Russell, and it was like none of the other stuff, no touch on anything else. So
I don't get the move.
Yeah, I didn't either. If you're spending the first pick, no, I wouldn't do that either.
Okay. So how about the Debo and Brandon Ayuk thing? That they can probably figure it out, maybe, and figure out with the money, but it feels like something's going on there. Do you guys get that same impression?
Well, I understood with Ayuk because I guess they're not wanting to pay money because they also got Purdy, I guess, coming up, and they're trying to figure out where their money's going to go, and you're already paying McCaffrey, Debo. But Debo, I mean, we've talked about it. He kind of makes that whole thing go when he's on the field because of all the different stuff he can do.
You've seen it when he's not there, right? You see what happens, right? It's flat.
So, I don't know.
Are these guys staying or what in your estimation? Are they staying with this team or is Pearsall the number one for real?
I mean, it looks like they're staying as it sits, but it's going to work itself out at the end of this year because they got a lot of people to pay. Like this is that season where if the Niners are going to get over the hump and actually get a ring, this is that year because the cap is going to start to dismantle this thing at the end of this season.
Yep. Even San Francisco guys say the same thing. So they're all on the same page with Debo. Like they're like, here, it's about to come up. Yeah,
I mean, they just have too many contracts that are going to come up at the same time. Yep. Like you're not going to be able to finesse your way through it. You're going to lose players. Yep. I think why they were entertaining the move Ayuk is you can get some draft capital in return as opposed to just losing the guy for nothing. So
if they could have got one of the big three, I think they would have gone for it for sure.
Absolutely.
Surprised they couldn't get anything for him or Debo. That's I mean, Debo, he does take some time off every year.
Right.
But
I think Ayuk, they probably wanted too much for him.
Right. And if you're going to be able to draft one of the top 3 wide receivers, I'd rather just draft one of those guys and have them play on a rookie contract than get Ayuk and have to play him. So, and that's a fair point. Like I said, I was more partial to him because I saw him more and I saw what he did against us. So I'm definitely a biased person as far as that goes. I just didn't know that Pearsall. I was using him more as a comparison because they said Pearsall should have been higher, and I was like, which one? I don't know what that means. Like somebody who they think was talented, and I didn't think Malik Willis would go that high. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and to answer, Jeremy here, Xavier has great speed, and he does. He is an absolute burner.
Yeah, man, you know what? You're something else, man. You ain't right. You ain't right back.
Hey, but I think Stevie Wonder could hit a couple guys with a mortar.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, no, it's
He can hear better than we can.
I think I would trust
Stevie
Wonder with a mortar more than I would trust Joe Milton with a 5-yard out.
Oh my goodness,
that's fair. That's fair.
Man.
But so the problem with Xavier is, I mean, he's incredibly fast, right? The problem is he doesn't have the best hands ever.
Right.
And
no, that would have criticism.
Yeah. So he is. Remember the guy from The Replacements, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando Brown.
There we go. Yes, I forget what his character's name was, but
right.
But yeah, like he's that guy, like incredibly fast, has terrible hands, like he needs to stick him.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully that's something he can work through and get some softer hands so he makes more catches. But I mean, if him and Mahomes can get on the same page, that's a dangerous combo.
Yep. Yeah, but if he's out there dropping passes, it'll just be like last year or the year before.
Yeah, it'll just be Kadarius Toney Part 2, a faster version.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a couple of things we have to pencil in for Monday with Roger Goodell, and then that poll question that we had. We don't have time for it now, so we're gonna have to hold that one off. But I want to get back to that question that or that comment that I think Jeremy made. I want to get you to speak to that, Herb, real quick about Neil. Like I said, I'm glad that he got bumped back. I think that's where he needs to be. I wish he was at guard. I think he'd be better there. But any comments on this point here? Do you see moving Neil would have been a great move? Yeah, perhaps, but I don't think that was even in the cards. Nobody was even thinking about doing that.
I think it'd be a great move, and it also, I mean, you got to recoup something. You drafted this guy high, like it's not. You don't necessarily want to give up on him, but if you can do, like they're saying, getting in the guard and recoup something from him and help the line at the same time, man, I'd love that move. Obviously, Alabama guy, I'm hoping he does well, and it's like, how many times have we apologized for his play on the show? We're so sorry, man. We're so sorry.
I'm like, if Herb likes him, he must be good. So I was like pumped and amped, and it's like, then he got out there. I'm like, oh my god,
there we go, Clifford Franklin. There it is. That's the character's name.
Just called it up. Yep.
He sound like a stud, don't he? Clifford Franklin sound like a stud.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, he was fast, but
he was fast. He just couldn't catch.
How many guys have you seen it come through the league with that kind of?
Yeah, the Raiders used to love drafting them, man.
They sure did.
Were just super fast. Yeah.
I don't want to say their names. I don't want to diss them because they got stuff going on.
The Raiders were king at it. They draft track stars and then forget that you still got to catch stuff.
Yep. I know we don't want to mention Ruggs or other stuff, but there was another one before him. What's that? 4 or 5 years before. I can't remember his name, but it was the same exact situation. He wasn't the highest rated wide receiver. They took him early, and they were like, he's a burner. And I think it took him 4 years to like get to the point where he was decent with his hands. And not great, just didn't drop everything. So
no, it's funny when you see some of those
guys. I want to know his
name
now.
Hands of stone.
Yeah.
Oh, why you do that, Herb? Now I got to find that guy's name now. Oh man, that's gonna eat at me if I don't get his name now. Why you do that, man?
Darius Bay, wasn't it? Darius Bay.
No, that wasn't Haywood Bay. That's different. It wasn't him. This guy was short but fast. It was. I know who you're talking about too. His name is it's not coming to me. I'm like, oh my. I don't even know what year it was.
And of course, while they look it up, be sure if you're watching to like and subscribe.
Oh man, come on, man! We got to find that now. Cause now I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. I thought he was gonna flame out anyway. That's exactly what happened. He flamed all the way out.
Yeah, Haywood Bay is who I was thinking about because he was a burner who never caught the ball. So
it's another guy, man.
When you go read his profile, it's all about his speed and never about anything else.
Ain't that long ago either. It was before Ruggs. It's not that long ago.
Well, Tua's brother gets signed, or we ever know. So here's the thing about Tua's brother, Talia. He was petitioning to get an extra year to go back to school. I think that tells you all that you need to know about like his draft potential and his potential in NFL. He was like,
he seems like one of those guys that will be a undrafted free agent, and then someone will bring him into the rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
To get an in-person view of what it is he can be. And that'll probably be it.
Yeah. If I was playing against a mobile quarterback, I could bring him in on the scout team and he could probably replicate that for me in practice.
Exactly.
But there was just never, and that's, I hate I mean, obviously he came to Alabama free, went to Maryland. We always rooted for him, but you got to be realistic about your next level, and there was just never any great consistency from him. And then, like I said, he wanted to go back to school for a year. So,
well, it's time for us to shut it down, guys. But this has been big fun. Thanks, Herb, for taking the time to jump in with us, man. I know you're busy out there. Raj, I don't know where you are, brother. Hope all is well. We miss you, man.
Yeah.
Just hope.
And I apologize, guys, for being late. But
I'll be good, man.
No, you're good, man.
You're a blessing, brother. We appreciate you, man. So guys, for you guys who don't know what's going on, it's not our normal time. This Monday, 9 a.m., the boys are back in town at our regular scheduled time. All right, so please
or
join
on
us.
the West Coast, 6 a.m. You wake up early.
Yeah, if you're early as Bo is, 6 a.m. PST. Good luck with that. So wherever you are and however you're hearing, call me Mr. U, the podcast. Thanks again for making us a part of your day, in your week, with your weekly mirror check, baby. Have a great day. Say goodbye to everybody.